Hello everyone, welcome to Math 1350, more on Math, Chapter 8, Section 4. Section 4 deals with equations in Cartesian coordinate systems. We do the homework. I'm going to attach the links for my algebra class because what they're looking at here is, I could just run over it really quick and give you a really glazed over approach to this, but I think you have to know the math part. So I'm going to include my chapter 1 videos for my algebra class, which has all this stuff in detail, as well as a whole bunch of examples. So this video here, we're going to go through the homework assignments. All right, so let's see here. The first one. The graph of y equals mx is given to the right. Sketch the graph for each of the following on the same figure. Y equals mx, all it did was raise 1. So if this is the line, all it did was go up 1. So it looks like this. They have the same slope and everything. I should use a ruler, shouldn't I? So 1, 2, 3 up 1. So it's 1, 2, 3 up 1. Looks something like that. That's the first one. The second one, same equation, but just drops down one line. So this dot goes to here, this dot goes to there, that dot goes to there, and all I do now is connect the dots. There's that line. So this one's for mx minus 1. This is y equals mx plus 1, and this is the mx. So if the number's outside the equation, then you just raise it or lower. It's called a vertical shift. Y equals 3mx. What all this tells us now is whatever mx is, multiply that value by 3. So 0 times 3 is 0. That one's at 1, 2, 3. So instead of 1, I multiply by 3, so I get 3. So that's 0, so it stays 0. What I do is I look at a point that has a definitive line. And that's at 1, so I multiply by 3. That's the one I should have done. So it's at 1, 1, 2, 3. Dang, it should be higher. I should do this on the computer. And this one, since it's negative, I go down. So this is my original line. So I multiply by negative 3. So from negative 1 times negative, so when this becomes negative 3, 1, 3. So instead of, because it should look like that. Sketch the graphs. Okay, I did that. The same figure. Use the graph tools for the equations. Now, in question 1, it's parallel. Question 2. Where's question 2? These both, since they have the same slopes, they're both parallel. Remember, parallel when the slopes of the two lines are the same. Sketch the graph for each of the equations. Okay, this is in the form y equals mx plus b. Where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So, to graph this equation, I first plot that point on the y-axis. It's at 9. And then I follow the slope. It says, remember, slope is rise over run. Since it's negative, from that point, I go down 9 spaces. And I go over to the right 4. So those are the 2 dots for that line. There's a graph. It crosses at positive 9, goes down over 4 for the next dot. Y equals 1. That's 1. There's nothing else, so it's always going to be 1. So that one is a horizontal line. This one's B. This one's A. And C says, okay, crosses at 6. The slope is negative 3, which means it's negative 3 over 1. So from that point, from the y-intercept, I drop down 3 points over 1. So that's C. They're not parallel, just slightly off. Find the x-intercept and y-intercept of the following equations. The x-intercept. Remember, to find the x-intercept, set y equal to 0, solve for x. So, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. So set y equal to 0 equals negative 1/2 x. Since we have a fraction and equal sign, multiply each term by the LCD, which is the bottom number. 2 times 0 is 0. Equals, the 2's cancel, so it's negative 1x. 2 times 1 is 2. So I'll move this one over, so I'll add x to both sides. X is equal to 2. So my x-intercept is at 2, 0. Remember, x-intercept is a location. It's a point. Each point has to have an x and y coordinate. The y-intercept of this equation. The y-intercept is always the constant. To find the y-intercept, set x equal to 0, solve for y. If you set x equals 0, that disappears. All we're left with is 1. 0, positive 1. Okay, the x-intercept. Since this is y equals -8, the graph of this line will be a horizontal line. Since there's no x values, it can't cross the x-axis. So it's a horizontal line. There is no x-intercept. The y-intercept is at -8. The x-intercept, y equals 19x minus 38. Set y equal to 0. Solve for x. Add 38 to both sides. So you got 38 equals 19x. So 19x equals 38. Divide by 19. X equals 2. 2 comma 0. Or I don't know how the system wants you to answer it, but it's a location, but if it asks for a number, it's x equals 2. This one is y equals -8. Y equals 1, x equals 2. The y-intercept. The y-intercept is always a constant, so is -38. So y equals -38. Remember, the sign goes with the number. Write each of the following in slope-intercept form and identify the slope and the y-intercept. The slope-intercept form is the y equals mx plus b, because m is your slope and b is your y-intercept, which is slope-intercept. So solve for y. So we have 6y minus x equals 0. Move the x over first. So since it's -x, I have to add x to both sides. And divide by 6. So y is 1/6 x. ax over b is ab times x. Same thing. So whatever's the slope is whatever's in front of the x. So the slope is 1/6. The y-intercept, since there's nothing there, it's 0. Because it's plus 0. Okay, the next one. X plus y equals 3. Remember, we're solving for y, so we have to get rid of the x. -x plus 3. Whatever's in front of the x is your slope. So it's -1. The y-intercept is at 3. It's saying it's an ordered pair. So it's 0, 3, 0, 0. And the last one, x equals 4y. We'll solve for y, so we divide by 4. So y equals x over 4, which is the same thing as 1/4 x. Because whatever's in front of your x is your number. So the slope is 1/4. Since there's nothing back there, it's plus 0. So it's at 0, 0. number 5. It's saying for each of the following, write the equation of the line determined by the given pair of points. In slope-intercept, in other words, I want the answer in mx plus b. If that's not possible, then like this. This is if there's no y value, it's a vertical line crossing at A. This one, it crosses at B, and it's a horizontal line. There's no x in there. So let's look at these. The first one. This is 5a. The points are negative 3, 6, and 4, negative 1. To find the equation of the line, you need two things: one point and a slope. Okay, we have 2 points, so that checks that one off. So the first thing we have to do, we have to find the slope. The equation of our slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is 0.1, so this is the x value of 0.1, the y value of 0.1. This is the second point, so this is the x value of 0.2 and the y value of 0.2. So y2 is negative 1 minus 6, that's y1. x2 is 4 minus negative 3. They're both negative, so the answer is negative. Add the numbers. Negative and negative becomes a positive. 4 plus 3 is 7. So the slope is negative 1. So we found the slope. Now, in order to put it in y equals mx plus b, we have to find b. The way we do that is choose either point plug m and the values of your point into y equals mx plus b, and then solve for b. That's where we are now. So we have the second step. We have our slope is negative 1. We choose either of the 2 points, so I'll just choose negative 3, 6. Doesn't matter which point you pick, because it's going to be on the same line. So I chose either point. Now I plug m. This is x. This is y. Remember, it's a point. So it's y. Y is 6. M is negative 1. X is negative 3. Now solve for b. So we have 6. Negative, negative is a positive. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So there's b. I have m and b. Plug m and b into y equals mx plus b, and you're done. So m is negative 1, x, b is 3. So y equals negative x plus 3. There's my equation. Y equals negative x plus 3. That's the first one. Five B. The points are 0, 0 and 5, 4. Find m. So we first have to find the slope. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Again, this is your first point, so that's x1, y1. This is the second point, x2, y2. y2 is 4, y1 is 0. x2 is 5, x1 is 0. So my slope is 4 over 5. Second step. Find b. To find b, I choose either of the 2 points. I take the easiest one. I picked 0, 0. And I have my slope. And I plug them in to this equation. Y equals mx plus b. This is x and that's y. So y is 0. M is 4 over 5 times 0 plus b. Solve for b. Anything times 0 is 0, so b is 0. Plug m and b into y equals mx plus b. So my m was 4 over 5, b is 0. M is 4 over 5, so leave x and y alone at this point, because now we're getting to the final answer, and that's 0. So that's gone, so y equals 4 over 5. I put these in the wrong spaces. So this one is y equals 4 over 5x. C. The points here are 0, negative 1/5, and 1/5, comma 0. Find the equation of the line. First step, find m, the slope. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. This is, remember, this is 0.1, so that's x1, y1, x2, y2. Make sure you label those. It's even safer, even much safer again, if you just list these. X1 is 0, X2 is 1/5, Y1 is -1/5, Y2 is 0. If you list them this way, it's much easier. You won't get lost. So Y2 is 0 minus Y1, which is -1/5. X2 is 1/5 minus 0. So the two negatives become a positive. So 0 plus 1/5, 1/5 minus 0, 1/5 divided by 1/5. Okay, we know since it's the same thing, it has to equal 1. But let me show you mathematically what's going on. Since we have a fraction over a fraction, take the top one, leave it alone. Multiply the flip of the bottom and multiply. So the 5's cancel, so we just have 1. So that's my slope. Then I have to find my y-intercept. I choose either of the points. In this case, I like, because this one's negative, this one's positive, I'd rather keep it positive. So I have my, choose a point, and I have my slope. I gotta find b, so I gotta plug it into this, where this is x and this is y, and that's m. So y is 0, m is 1, x is 1/5. One times 1/5 is 1/5. Since nothing else, we have to move this to the other side, so we subtract 1/5 from both sides. So b is equal to -1/5. So we have our slope is 1, and our b is -1/5. Plug into y equals mx plus b. So your slope is 1, and your b is -1/5. 1 times x is x. Positive times negative is negative. And there's your answer. Y equals x minus 1/5. Y equals x minus 1/5. And the last one for question 5. 0, -3, -4, -3. So 5D. We have 0, -3, -4, -3. Find m. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 is -3 minus y1 is -3. -4 is x2 minus 0. Two negatives become a positive, So we have negative 3 plus 3, negative 4 minus 0. Negative 3 plus 3 becomes 0. If the 0 is on top, the slope is 0. Very important point. If 0 is on top, how many times does 4 fit into 0? None. How many times does 0 go into 4? An infinite number of times. If I promise to give you nothing, how many ways can I do that? An infinite ways I can give you nothing. So, if the 0 is on the bottom, you can't have it's undefined. If the 0 is on top, the answer is 0. So we have our slope. It's 0. Now we gotta find our b. Choose one of the two numbers. I choose the bigger one then. You can choose whatever's easiest for you. So I pick that point. I have my slope. I plug those into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. Y equals mx plus b. So let's remember this is x, this is y. So y is negative 3, m is 0, x is negative 4, and b is b. That's what we're solving for. So that disappears, so b is equal to negative 3. Find the equation now. Find y equals mx plus b. I have my slope. I have my y-intercept. I plug those into my equation. So y equals 0 times x plus negative 3. 0 times x is 0. Positive times negative is negative. And there's our equation. Well, we kind of knew that was going to be it. Remember our original 2 points? If you notice that if the y's are the same, then we know that has to be the answer. If the x's were the same, since the x's are the same, the answer would be negative that. So in this case, since we have that, that's our equation of our line. Okay, number 6. Find the equation of each of the following lines. Completes part A and B below. Find the line containing point 0.64 and perpendicular to the x-axis. So what we need in order to find, remember, to find the equation of a line, we need to have a point and a slope. Okay, we got the point 0.64, and the slope we can determine from this. Here's our graph. Here's our x. Here's our y. If a line is going, okay, it's at 0.64, so it's 6 here, 4 here, and it's perpendicular to the x-axis, means go straight up and down. Perpendicular means that the slope is a negative reciprocal. So the x-axis, since it's horizontal, it has a slope of 0. All right. So the perpendicular slope is undefined. The perpendicular, in order to find, we have to take this number, change the sign, and flip it. So this undefined means the vertical line. That means the equation of this line since it doesn't touch the y-axis, it's only the x value, since it goes straight up and down. Now, a line containing the point -6, 1 and parallel to the x-axis, -6, 1, and here's the x-axis, it's parallel, that means it never touches. So, since the line is horizontal, the slope is 0. Remember from watching the notes, the slope face. If the line goes up and down, the slope is undefined. If the line's horizontal, the slope is 0. So since r is parallel to the x-axis, it never touches the x-axis, only touches the y-axis, so the equation is only the y value. No, in this case, it's the y value. So the answer is y equals 1. Find the slope of the line through the pair of points using the slope formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So it's x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 is 7, y1 is 2, x is 7, x2 is 7, minus -5. 7 minus 2 is 5. The negative and negative makes it a positive. 7 plus 5 is 12. So it's 5/12. Write the equation of each line with the given point and slope. Complete part A and B below. A through D, okay. So we have 2 points and the slope is that. So we're looking for the equation of the line. So we have the slope. Pick one of the 2 points. Again, pick the easier point, so I picked that one. I have to find the y-intercept. Since I already have a point and a slope, I need the y-intercept. So y is 2, m is 1/3, x is 0. Anything times 0 is 0, so my y-intercept is 2. My y-intercept is 2, my m is 1/3, so plug in there, so y equals m is 1/3, x plus my b is 2. There, that's the answer. Our slope is 0. Well, since we talked about earlier, if our slope is 0, it's a horizontal line. If it's a horizontal line, the equation of the line just crosses the y-axis. So we know automatically this is going to be y equals 1. But let's work it out. We have our slope. I choose one of the points, 2, 1. Now I have to find b. Y equals mx plus b. Y is 1. M is 0. X is 2. Plus b. 0 times 2 is 0, so b is equal to 1. So I have m and I have b. mx plus b. 0 times x plus 1. 0 times x is 0, so it's y equals 1. I apologize if I'm going too fast. This section is just so huge. Ridiculously huge. EE and DD, where slope is 1. Equation of the line. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So d minus e, d minus e. Since they're the same things, we get our slope is 1. Alright, so my slope is 1. Duh. We knew that already. So we have to figure out what our y-intercept is. So y equals mx plus b. Let's pick EE. Now, doesn't matter which one. So D is E. Y is E. M is 1. X is E plus B. So E equals E plus B. Subtract E from both sides. So B is equal to 0. So there is no y-intercept. Doesn't mean, well, I'm sorry, I'll take it back. Doesn't mean there isn't one. It is. It's at the origin. And the slope is 1. So for this one, y equals mx plus b. M is 1. And the y-intercept is 0. So it's just y equals x. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So y2 is negative 8 minus 8, radical 7 minus radical 7. Okay, since we have a 0 on the bottom, we know it's undefined. It doesn't equal 1, it's undefined. No, negative 8 is negative 16. I'm sorry, I should indicate my screen. Negative 1, negative 8, negative 8, they're both negative. Add the two numbers. Over 0, so it's undefined. If it's undefined, that means we only have a vertical line. There is no y-intercept, so it's x equals the x value. The x values are both 7, radical 7. And there's our answer. Okay, everybody, I'm sorry about this section, but that does it for the course. Good luck, and wish you the best.